What is up, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, between the ages of 25 and 44 years old, watching after 5 o'clock in the afternoon? You're like, this dude's omniscient. How does he know this? It's called analytics. It's mostly 25 to 44-year-old males watching sometime between 5 and 6. That kind of lets you know where most of the Kratom use is, right? I mean, there's some women out there, but I think, men tend to go, we have more, I guess, extremist mindsets, and women tend to be more moderate, I guess. And, I don't know. I think it's a testosterone thing. Men just go, if I decide I'm going to take it, I'm going all the fucking way, man. I'm going all in. Women are always the ones that sit back and kind of, oh, wait a minute now. Let's think about this. Let's be practical. How is this going to affect my future? Men are just like, fuck it. Give me all of it. Oh, man. Anyway, if you've been watching my videos for a little bit, I've had a lot of people commenting on my videos recently and checking back with me and saying, hey man, I've been watching your videos for a while, really enjoy them, they've really helped me out a lot, just thought I'd check in with you, that sort of thing. I really appreciate that, and that really gives me an idea of wow, this it's doing its thing. It really is helping people and helping to motivate people to make changes and curtail their own use and relationship with things like kratom and other opiates and stuff like that. And we talk about it all on here. First one is free. Handshake is good enough for me. But hey, it takes you 2 seconds, man. If you've watched a couple of my videos, if you like the format, just a guy on his lunch break, just a regular guy like you, spending, or girl. Well, no, I'm not a regular girl. I'm a guy. But if you're a girl, there are some girls, 60 to 70% of the people watching my videos are men between the ages of 25 and 44, watching somewhere around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. However, there are some women as well. So if you are a man or a woman, you've watched a couple of my videos, you enjoy just seeing a guy just being transparent about substance abuse and divulging a lot of things that many people would be humiliated and completely embarrassed to talk about on a platform where you have the potential for millions of people to see it worldwide. That's me. I do that. If you appreciate that, it takes 2 seconds. Hit the subscribe button, hit the noti bell. You don't ever have to worry about it again, and it helps me out. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. First off, let me start here. So I was supposed to take 5 grams yesterday. I actually ended up taking 4.5 grams yesterday. Again, extremist mindset. I was like, damn, why do the 5 grams when I can break under that 5 grams and I can call it 4 something, right? And so that's what I did. I took 5 capsules when I got home that evening, which is equivalent to 2.5 grams. And I had only taken 2 grams earlier that day, so I ended up a grand total of 4.5 grams for the whole day yesterday, and I actually slept okay. I did the kava, I did the magnesium. One thing I did last night that is a little bit different that I would actually recommend. I don't know if it's a direct correlation as to why I slept okay last night, or it could be that my body's just kind of starting to readjust, especially now that I'm getting down to much lower amounts. But one thing I did was I mixed some vitamin C, and I've got a lot of comments saying, listen, hey, the vitamin C really helps a lot, especially at night, like with the restless legs and the sort of withdrawals that you experience at night while you're in bed. It really helps a lot with that. I listen to you guys. I really do. I mean, some of it's like, oh, come on, dude, that's bullshit. No, it's not. I do have a couple of trolls that I've gone in hard in the paint on them a couple of times for saying stupid stuff. But the rest of you guys, very, very awesome, compassionate. I have like the best group of subscribers. One of my boys, Jonas, said the other day, he was like, he was like, there's a really good group of people subscribing to your channel. It shows what kind of people you attract. And I was like, man, I appreciate that. I really do. And I would like to think of myself as that type of person that just attracts a group of good people, because I am a positive, well-meaning person who just wants to see everyone do well and everyone thrive in this world, despite who you are, what you believe, what color you are, what sex you are, what you identify as. I don't give a shit about any of that. Just want you to be happy. That's it. That's the bottom line for me. So I do listen to you guys, and the whole vitamin C drum has been beaten on this channel over and over and over and over, and many people have told me about it. So I did that last night. I actually ordered some vitamin C. My vitamin C supplements themselves have not arrived at the house yet. But what I did do is we had something sitting up in the cabinet called Emergent C. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's basically like a 1-2 punch of vitamin C, right? Well, I guess that would be just a jab, or maybe a right cross of vitamin C. Either way, it's about 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in the one tablet, and you take it almost like it's an Alka-Seltzer, right? You know, you take maybe 4 ounces of water or something like that, put it in the microwave for a couple of minutes to get it warm, and then you drop the little tab that's maybe about the size of a quarter. You drop that into the water and it fizzes almost like an Alka-Seltzer, right? And once it completely gets mixed up in there, you just kind of swirl it around, shoot it down. And so I did that, and I had some gummies at the house, which they were actually my wife's prenatal gummies. Hey, don't judge me, man. Don't judge me. You know, it doesn't make me less manly to take a woman's prenatal vitamin. I mean, it's got all the good shit in it. It's got the vitamin C. It's got the different, you know, tons of different vitamins. It's just packed with all of that stuff. And as you know, men and women alike, you know, utilize those things in our bodies. We're not that much different. It's not going to turn me into a woman or anything. I mean, come on, dude. Come on, man. I didn't say I went and got a full sex change operation. I didn't say that. Calm down, dude. Calm down. So I took a couple of those gummies as well. So all in all, I took right around 1,600 milligrams of vitamin C last night. And with that, with the magnesium, with the kava, it seemed to really, really help. I slept a lot better, a lot cleaner. I wasn't doing nearly as much of the, like, just clenching and kind of the discomfort in the chest area, which that's always been a big problem for me when I'm going through like a taper or withdrawals. You know, the chest discomfort, just where your central nervous system is just like, what the hell is going on? Where's the kratom? You know, I didn't get nearly as much of that. So can only chalk it up to one of two things. Either I'm just getting down to, you know, the bare bones, under 5 grams at this point, and just the withdrawals aren't that bad at that point, or the vitamin C actually helped, you know. And I tend to believe that maybe it's a little bit of both, but I would definitely say I noticed a difference in my ability to be able to kind of, my body, not my mind, but my body, to just kind of relax last night and actually drift off to sleep. So that was good. So I appreciate all the guys that really beat the vitamin C horn on here. I said yesterday I was going to talk some about finances. And when I started looking at my comments, there was one thing that kept firing over and over and over into my brain, and it kept firing over and over: for the people, by the people, for the people, by the people. I don't know why. I kind of feel like it's therapy for people to be heard, and for other people to hear your story and kind of hear where you're at. I think that's really helping people on this channel. And I've had a lot of people tell me that the channel helps them. And, you know, and more than that, people have also alluded to the fact that one of the reasons it really helps is because you feel like you're not alone. And you realize that you're not alone, that there are other people out there, myself included, that are going through similar struggles than you. That's empowering, man. You know, that makes it not just one fist, but two fists and three fists, and we're all together, like, yeah, you know, together with all of our different ideas, different experiences, different techniques that people use while tapering, withdrawing, whatever it is. I mean, there's a lot of professional information that you can get on these channels. And don't get me wrong, every once in a while a troll will pop up and say, I've been taking Kratom for blah, 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 blah for 5 years straight, drinking 10 MITs every day, and I quit just like that and never had any troubles with withdrawal. Actually, it wasn't quite that extreme. Oh, man. I love fucking with the trolls. But I have had people, you know, come on and just like, what are you talking about? Kratom's not addictive, basically, is what they were saying. I took it for forever, basically, and I didn't have any withdrawals at all. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you know you're lying. Why are you doing that? That's bullshit. Because if you were taking it like I was taking it, you definitely would be having some withdrawals. But anyway, for the most part, what you get on here are people who have been to the rodeo, have been into town a time or two, right? And you get some really good advice, and I think that's why it helps people. So with that, I'm not going to say too much about the financial aspect of it, other than when I was taking the MITs, there was a point at my highest point of addiction that I was spending at least half of my salary on MITs. The fucked up part about it is, at that time especially, you know, this is before my latest son was born, my infant that I have now at home. This is well before that. And, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, my wife makes good money too. I'm a blessed man. My wife is in sales. She's really good at sales. She's one of those people that just thrives in that sort of sales environment. She was a top salesperson for Coca-Cola in our area. So, you know, homegirl was making bank. Homegirl was making good money. And so it was one of those things, despite the fact that I was spending basically half my salary on MITs for a period of time there, you know, we were still okay. Because my wife's making good money. You know, we're smart with our money. We tuck money away when we needed to and stuff like that. And so we were able to still kind of, you know, make it through. We're not the type of people to go out and, oh, well, I make good money, so I just have to have, you know, I just have to have the latest, nicest car. I've just got to drive a Mercedes, or I've got to drive a $50,000 car, or, oh, we made over $120,000 this year. Oh, time for me to go get a boat. Oh, we made over 120 grand this year. Let's go get a pair of four-wheelers. Come on, let's buy ourselves a golf cart so we can ride around the golf course like everyone else does in our neighborhood. You know what? We haven't been on a vacation in a while. We're making 150 grand a year. Let's go get a camper. There's our vacation right there. We can drive all around the country and just, you know, go to campsites and just hook up, plug in, plug and play, and, you know, nah. My wife and I are not like that. We don't think that way. We're not materialistic sort of people. Again, I would rather forego every bit of that and just go on a shopping spree one Saturday and buy myself some nice clothes. You know, that's how I roll. Which I hadn't done that in a while either, because I've been so freaking busy with having a new baby, man. When you have a baby that young that is constantly in need of your attention, man, that makes it tough to get other things done. But nonetheless, aside from the whole Kratom thing, you know, my wife and I have always been relatively frugal, pretty smart with our money, and therefore we were able to be okay through that period of time. Thank God I'm not taking those anymore and am down to 4.5 grams of Kratom. What will I take today? I've taken 1.5 grams so far. I completely skipped my morning dose this morning. It gets better. This morning was the first morning that I've woken up in a while where I was like, I don't feel that bad, right? You know how we talked about when you get up to higher doses, you start having these morning time withdrawals. You sleep through the night, and as you sleep, the Kratom that you last used that evening before is starting to leave your system. So by the time you wake up, you might have been 8, 10, 12 hours without having any Kratom, right? And for us Kratom users, that's the longest period out of a 24-hour day that you will go without taking Kratom, right? So when you wake up in the morning, a lot of times your withdrawals are at their peak, like they're at their worst. And I definitely experienced that at the higher doses. And first thing when I would wake up, there were times where I had to freaking kick myself just to get out of bed and go to work. But it was because I was in withdrawals. I felt like shit because I didn't have my Kratom in me yet. Well, this morning, having only taken 4.5 grams yesterday, I feel like I'm finally getting to a point where that is starting to ease up a little bit, the morning time withdrawals, because I've been, 3 days now without taking a morning dose of Kratom, and that's starting to ease up some. I felt a little lighter, not quite as depressed, not quite as mentally down and stuff like that when I woke up this morning. So I can start to see, the clouds starting to clear a little bit, and kind of start seeing the light shining through a little bit. The stuff does get better, guys. It does get better, I promise. But I'm already 16 minutes in, so I'm going to rip through some of these comments. We're going to talk about them because I got some really good comments, and I want to give you guys a voice on here because I feel like that's important for this channel, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to read the comments. In a couple of instances, I'm going to read my comment back, what my response was to the person, and then a couple of the comments towards the end, I'm just going to read their comment, and then I'm going to respond now. This is my response to you. Got one from @ChristianBR6963. You motivate me to recognize when I'm fucking up once again with Kratom. I'm going to lower my doses, and I need to journal and keep track of my taper. Once again on a Kratom binge, but I have responsibilities to uphold, so I'm going to try this method correctly. Currently running on 3 hours of sleep and worked today. I had to push through, but somehow, regardless of the sleep deprivation, Kratom withdrawal, and working in the hot blazing sun all day while being dehydrated, I felt better today than last week in terms of optimism. My response is, Christian, you got this, brother. Let me know how we can support you over here. You're a capable young man doing amazing things in the world. I know you're not going to let Kratom change that. Keep me updated on your taper. And yes, journaling is a great idea, my friend. This guy has a channel too. I've been on his channel where he just kind of sits and talks and keeps it real, so go check him out. Christian, pulling for you, bro. Please keep me updated on where you're at with that, because a lot of people just feel kicked in the teeth by, Kratom. And there are people out there that are good with their Kratom use, but I think out of the set of people that are quote unquote good with their Kratom use, I would say there's a percentage. I'm not going to say how high or how low, but I think there's a percentage of those people that are lying lying to themselves, and some of them know it and just won't admit it to other people. Some of them may really be okay with their use, and me, I don't campaign against anything on here, and there are levels to this shit. Some people just do not know how to take something like Kratom without going completely asinine overboard with it, and that's, a lot of it is about being mature enough in mind and spirit to recognize that you're one of those dudes, you're one of those women. You can't do this shit. Yeah, maybe Peter over there can do it. Maybe John over there can do it. Maybe Bob down the street seems like he's handling his pretty well, but you can't do it, my dude. And some people kind of have to come to that realization, sometimes. I'm not saying Christian is one of those guys or not. He has recognized it. And bro, I'm really glad. I appreciate you saying that. The fact that I've motivated you to do that. And, again, I feel super humble when I get told that, because all I'm doing is just you know, I'm just sharing my story. You know, I'm just sharing my struggles with it. Like, this shit's kicked me in the teeth a few times, this Kratom and other opiates as well. Not just Kratom, but other opiates through my life. And all I'm doing is just getting on here and just sharing my story, you know, but that's all it takes. You know, that's all it takes. And I think that causes other people to feel empowered. Like, you know what? Ain't no shame in it, man. Look at it. Look at it. There's a freaking army of us. You're not the only one, dude. There's a freaking army of 10,000, 20,000, a million. There are millions of people across the nation and the world who feel this way. You're not alone. And when you start to feel that sense of unity with other people that share the same struggles, it causes you to feel empowered. Like, you know what? Maybe this isn't something I should be ashamed of. It's just, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, you know? All right, at Stop Spying on Me 9210 says, man, I wish I was down to 5.5 grams. I'm on 14 grams and it's only 9:30 in the morning. I've been there, brother. I've been there. A lot of us have. Work decided to cut my hours and I'm just sitting around the house bored, and it's been raining the last few days, so no such outlet for it. I want to interject right here and just say, Stop Spying on Me. He left a comment several weeks ago and he mentioned something again about sitting around the house being bored. I want to say that is a big issue for a lot of people. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard this saying before, but I'm going to put this out into the ethosphere again. Idle hands is the devil's playground. Another way of putting it is, idle hands is the devil's workshop. There's a reason that saying is as popular as it is. It's the God's honest truth. And what that means is, you know, if your hands are idle, meaning you're not putting your hands in anything, or you're not engaging in anything productive, you're not engaging your mind, your body, your hands into doing something that's productive, you are more than likely going to fall into what? Devil's workshop, devil's playground. So that is a big thing. I understand you can't work, and he also mentions in here that it's been raining for the past few days. That, I get that. I hate when it rains. I wish it could just be 75 degrees and sunny every day. I would be perfectly good with that, with a slight little breeze too, would be nice. But I'm one of those people that I thrive way better in sunlight, so I get that. But I will say, man, listen, figure out a way to force yourself to be busy on something. And, you know, it's true that when you're coming off of something like Kratom, there is such a mind fuck and a body fuck, because body fuck, ugh, sounds bad. It, you know, your mood and your whole aura and your whole energy is just here and then here and then here and here. It's like a horror movie roller coaster ride, you know, and that's your mood. Your psyche is doing that. So it's really easy to sit here and say, oh, just do stuff. You know, like, because you don't want to do stuff. You feel like shit. You feel the anhedonia, you feel the depression, stuff like that. But the thing about it is, if you can force yourself into something just to keep your hands busy and your mind busy, it gets you through those moments where you're just feeling like shit. Are you going to have to force it? Are you going to have to just go in like autopilot mode? Yeah, probably. You know, because it's not going to be like after you just dropped 14 grams of Kratom and you're like, damn, I feel good. I think I'm just going to sit here and stare at the wall and this shit's going to be fun as hell. I made the analogy before. You name the most boring tasks ever in existence and then give me a bunch of opiates and ask me to do that task. That task is going to become one of the most fun tasks I have ever experienced in my life, in a matter of however long it takes those opiates to kick in. That's what they do to you. I mean, I've told my wife this analogy before. I could be sitting on death row, you know, an hour from my execution, and somebody could hand me 2 Percocets and then come back in 15 minutes after giving me the Percocets. How are you feeling right now, knowing that you're about to be executed in 45 minutes? It's not that bad, man, to be honest with you. You know, lived a good life and what. I mean, you know, that's the mind fuck that we all have trouble dealing with. You know, the mind fuck, man. It fucks your mind. It fucking fucks your mind, dude. And coming off of it's hard for that reason. At this point, I'm just considering letting my supply run dry before switching 100% to stem and vein for a few weeks, then switching to the reset pack for like a week and seeing how that goes. I'm kind of skeptical. I guess I'll need to just be my own lab rat and publish the results. Right now, I'm like 25, 30 grams a day, maybe more. Kava is coming in the mail in a few hours. I can't wait to try it again. Got paid today, so I need to spend it wisely. Any advice for stuff that will help? My vacation time is available again. I have a handful of days off, so no reason I can't rapidly taper. I'm trying to avoid as much of that anhedonia as possible. Is it better to stick at a low dose for a longer period of time and cut down fast originally? Thinking the stem and vein prior to quitting should make it relatively easy. Now, how do I quit hash? All right, one thing at a time, brother. And I said this in my response to him. I've got maybe 8 minutes left. Forget about hash right now, okay? The more important thing, in my opinion, and I'm no professional, I'm no doctor, I'm no addiction specialist, but in my opinion, you know, marijuana, it has a very, very long half-life. So people don't really experience certainly any physical withdrawals with marijuana, right? I mean, you might not sleep really well for a night or two because you're used to having that kind of, you know, suppressing your mindset, you know, or I don't know how you would call that, but marijuana can kind of promote relaxation and sleep, right? So I remember back in the day, back in the good old days in my early 20s, before I ever even got hooked on pain pills and I was hooked on marijuana, was a pothead, and I stopped. I remember having 1 or 2 nights where I was kind of having some trouble falling asleep those first couple of nights. But then, dude, after second, third night, you know, fell asleep fine, no issues. I mean, I was a little bit irritable sometimes, kind of like, dude, I want a joint, you know, I want to hit the bowl, you know, but it was nothing like, you know, Kratom, pain pills, other opiates. So I will say it's completely fine to do this thing in steps, dude. Rome was not built in a day. Baby steps, be patient with yourself. But one of the things, you know, you said in here, handful days rapidly taper. I'm trying to avoid as much of the anhedonia as possible. L-tyrosine helps with that. But listen, more than that, I just want to say this, dude. Sometimes you have to just do kind of a sack check on yourself. You know, do the whole, ooh, whoa, easy, dude, easy. You know, you have to do a sack check on yourself sometimes. I'm gonna tell you something. It's taking you a while to get into this. Might take you a little bit to get out of it. And guess what? A lot of the reasons that people stay locked into this shit is because, locked into these addictions, is because they're afraid of the withdrawals. Bro, you're gonna survive, you know, and you need to prepare yourself mentally right out of the gate that you're probably not gonna get out of this thing completely unscathed, unless you're one of those people that's willing to go to the doctor, divulge every honest detail about where you are with Kratom. And at that point, maybe a doctor, because if you're one of those people that you don't want to feel any discomfort of the withdrawals whatsoever, and I'm not saying that's you, stop spying on me, I'm not saying that's you, but I can tell by some of the things you're saying, you're trying to avoid all that shit if possible. I get it. We get it. We all get it. It sucks. You know, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, it's not that bad, dude. No, it is. It is. But what you have to remember is it gets better. It does get better. And you can ask any sober person who has been where you are but is now sober, or even somebody who's close to getting to that point of being sober like myself. I can already start feeling the weight being lifted a little bit. you know, just by being on such a much lower dose of it, right? It does get better, but you might have to just accept the fact, prepare yourself mentally that it's not going to be easy. It's going to kind of suck for a little bit, and just go start from there, you know, and that'll kind of give you the persistence, you know, to be able to push through those moments where it gets kind of tough, just